Did you know that the fourth ever World Boy Scout Jamboree had a theme from Hungarian mythology and was organized by the most prominent Hungarian Turanist? The badges of this 1933 event, which was a massive success, featured the white stag, a miraculous deer that, according to medieval chronicles, led the Huns, and then the Hungarians, into their present homeland. A huge figure of the stag loomed over the Jamboree's campgrounds, and a ton of souvenirs were produced with its image. I actually couldn't resist copying this hat pin that I found on eBay. As I researched the event for the latest episode of my podcast, which is out now, the whole thing felt very surreal to me in retrospect. Knowing, for example, that World War II was just on the horizon. Because the regent of Hungary at the time, Axis Admiral Miklos Horthy, spoke at the event, alongside the founder of the World Scouting Movement, Robert Baden-Powell. Laszlo Almásy, the real-life Hungarian pilot and son of a Turanist explorer upon whom the movie The English Patient is based, was there too. But the principal organizer of the event was Prime Minister Paul Teleki, who was both an avid advocate of the scouting movement in Hungary and the leader of the Hungarian Turanian Society. Teleki was also an academic, deeply interested in the idea of Hungarian ethnic origins and part of a circle that formulated many unorthodox theories about Hungarian linguistics and history. This is very evident in the primary sources describing the event that I've seen, which I look at a lot in the intro of my new podcast. This jamboree was extraordinarily successful, with over 300,000 people gathering to see 20,000 Boy Scouts from 46 countries. The camp had its own post office, streetcar, rail station, hospital, and more, all assembled on the grounds of Godullo Palace, which was Horthy's summer residence at the time and later would be Teleki's final resting place. The story of Hunor and Magor, the legendary forefathers of the Huns and Hungarians, featured prominently in the speeches and publicity for the event. Obviously, modern scouting movements have hardly anything to do with Hungarian Turanism or origin myths, or Miklos Horthy and Pál Teleki. But I find it endlessly fascinating that all that did play a major role in at least this chapter of the early world scouting movement. There's a lot more to say about the event, so if you're interested, check out episode 6 of the Turan Explorer podcast.